I have a few of those.
Clear sign now, it's just a ghost town. You made the city feel like home. Now I don't hear a sound. The silence speaks loud. And now I feel like I can't breathe. Yeah, I'm missing parts of me. I didn't know I had the power I didn't know. I'm falling to pieces. I'm falling to pieces. I'm falling to
There we go. How's that sound? Yeah. Alright. Alright. A wet palette here. Got our Redgrass games here. Yeah, there we go. Just stick him on. So this is our Captain America that we're going to be painting. And let's... There we go. Let's turn that down a little bit. Cool. Okay. For us to wipe our paint off on. And we need a reference. I know that sounds silly. Flesh. We may need that in a bit. There's our white. We got our white here. We got one blue. That's our black. We may need him. That is our dark silver. Screaming skull. Our light silver. Our dark blue. Our kind of dark red. Our bright red. Where is our brown? Our brown. Brushes. So we got him primed, and he is ready to paint. So where do I want to start with him? Get him good and secure on there. And I think we're going to start with a whole lot of blue. I'm going to start with our dark blue first. Shake the crap out of it. Yeah, I'm probably not being loud enough, but there's nobody watching, so that doesn't matter anyways. We are just hanging out, doing some painting. If there is anybody, say hi in the chat. Oh, forgot my water pot. Be right back. See if we can't angle that a little bit better. There's not a whole lot to see right now, but we're just going to get a big old slop of paint here using our Night Lord's blue. We're just going to put that onto our wet palette. Smooth that out a little bit. And then we just start painting. And we look at our reference, and we see that his pants are entirely blue. I know. I should know what Captain America looks like. It's only been like 12 movies. But, you know. He has different costumes. We're going to try to go with the traditional here. Like I said, we're starting off with some Night Lord's blue for our base coat. We primed him with Wraithbone. Now right now most of my colors are going to be the Citadel paint line, and that is due to some production issues. For those who don't know, Duncan Rhodes had a Kickstarter mid last year, and it was fully funded. Looks like a fantastic line of paints. However, they hit some production line issues, so that won't be coming in until later this year. I was really hoping that my first stream would be using the Duncan Rhodes paints, but, you know, tell the universe you have a plan. We're just going to put on some thin coats right there for his pants. You can see that that's coming through real nice. The thing that I like about this from Redgrass Games is I can just hold it upside down, and I can really get into some of these places that would be harder to get into without messing up my paint too much. We just get the top half. Look, it's like he's wearing jean shorts. He's wearing some good old jorts. Good old 90s. And so yeah, and we just do that. We got the top half of his pants done. And we'll come back with another coat later. Right now, we're just trying to get some paint on. So, this model is kind of interesting. This is from the Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures game. It's got a lot going on with this model. There's a lot of armor bits. He's got some knee pads here. And I think those are going to end up being brown. He's got the brown boots. We'll get those brown here in a minute. Go back for a little more paint. Get into some of these crevices. Probably. Yeah. Let's wash off our brush here a bit. Mix that in with some of our wet palette paint here. Gotta be a little careful with some of the wet palette. You can end up watering down your paint too much. It becomes more like a glaze. So if that's what you're going for, it's real easy to do that with a wet palette. That's okay. If you grew up watching Bob Ross, you know that there are no mistakes, only happy accidents. So now, we're going back over some of this blue. We got a white prime coat in there. That'll help the blue really stand out. Remember that your paints are somewhat transparent. At least your acrylics are. Alright. His pants are looking good. So we're going to move up to his chest. And so right now we're just trying to block in all the blue. Everywhere that's going to be blue, we want to block in, except for the shield. We're not going to touch the shield yet. It's going to be one of the last things that we do. I've got some plans for that shield. We're going to go around the star here. When we get some blue on it, it's okay. We'll clean it up. We're going to get down in here. Yeah, there we go. Those Chris Evans pecs. Alright, so this is going to be a little bit different from our reference. Again, the reason that I'm trying to use the reference is just to make sure that I've got all the right places with the right colors. Alright, so this is very much a traditional Captain America here. or a more traditional Captain America, I should say. Not any kind of secret invasion or hand. He hasn't been mind controlled by anybody. He hasn't been taken over. He's just good old Captain America. Sometimes that's fun. Sometimes it's fun to be really creative and mix your color palettes and your genres. And sometimes it's more challenging to do things the standard way. So we're starting with blue because blue is the most prominent color on the model, and I want to get the most amount of coverage first. Alright, so we're getting the helmet here. It's a little too watered down, maybe. That's okay. We'll clean it up. If you get your acrylics too watered down, they start to look like watercolors. Oh, you can't really see what I'm doing, can you? There we go. So we're going up under here. We're just going to get his whole arm there. We're going to get under this arm here too. So again, having something like this stand here really helps. Helps you get a lot of those angles that you're trying to get. We're going to get this right here. When we get to the shield, we're going to try something real special. Yeah, so you can tell that I'm listening to Spotify playlist made for Twitch streaming. Everything on the Spotify playlist, to my understanding, is Stream approved. So, Twitch comes at me. Please know. I'm sorry. Alright, so there we go. We have a lot of our blue done. On this camera it looks kind of black, which I'm not going to say doesn't look cool. There we go. We've got a lot of our blue done, a lot of our coverage set. Hey! What's up, Turtlepig? Can you hear me? Are you still here? How's the sound, Turtlepig? Yep, good. What do you think of our Captain America? Oh, yeah. You like that shirt? I gotta represent. Thanks. Thank you, sir. Thanks for stopping in. Welcome to my first stream. So exciting. Alright. So the next color is Rhinox Hide, which is a brown color. This is the Citadel base. No, you're good, man. Do your thing. I'm just sitting here talking. And, yeah. So, this is the Citadel base, which, as I've learned, means that it's a little thicker than their layer or some of their other paints. The intent with the base is that it goes on really, really thick to provide that base coat. And then you edge highlight or line on top of it with their other line of layer paints. So what we're going to do, we're going to get just a little bit, right? Just like that. We're going to put it on our wet palette. And we're going to smush it around a little bit. Then we're going to just thin it out. Alright, we don't even need to dip back into our water pot. We got a good amount, and we are just going after all of those delicious brownie bits, right? So we're going to go down here, and we're going to start at his boots. And we're just going to slop that paint right on there. Just get in there. It's already thin enough from the wet palette and everything else that it's going to go into those crevices nicely. And as it goes on, it's going to look really, really wet, and that's okay. We want it to look wet. Now, another easy technique using Citadel is Citadel makes a line called contrast. They're contrast paints. I've seen some people paint this particular model using those contrast paints, and it looks really slick. The contrasts, I don't know exactly how they do it. It's like they have a mixture of alcohol or something in there that helps break up the pigments, and it lets you swirl them around a bit. But we're not doing that today. Mostly because I don't have them. So we're just painting, and some of these things we're painting over, we're going to go back over them with a different color, and when we put that brighter red, or just any red on top of this brown, it's really going to pop. You're going to see a lot of really cool effect coming out of that with that brown base, because it is so dark and so thick. That's with 2 C's, yo. Here we go. Yeah. And just like that, Captain America has some boots. Look at them boots. And by the way, I just want to say that, that right there, that's America's ass, folks. That is America's ass. Right there. Alright, so back to the painting. Enough of the jokes. Bless that ass. So again, with the wet palette, because we're staying with the brown, we don't have to keep going back to our water pot. And so right now we're just going to get this glove here. We're going to get these fingers. That's one of the reasons why you want to thin your paints, which the wet palette really helps with. I know, Duncan Rhodes, thin your paint, you scrubs. But when you thin that paint, it really helps it get into those crevices, which brings out a lot of the details. And that's what you pay for sometimes, right? If you're buying those ridiculously expensive $200 models, you want those details, and so thin your paint and get it in there. Yeah, go have fun, man. Thanks for hopping in. Give it a follow. Click that heart. I'm going to be doing more of these. See, I already sound professional already. Alright, here we go. Getting that brown in there. So I'm probably using the wrong brush to go over this belt, but that's okay. Again, there's no mistakes, just happy accidents. And again, because paint is an additive medium instead of a subtractive, any kind of happy accident that we have, we can usually go back over it. Alright, so right here, can't really tell what I'm trying to do in there. So you see we got a lot of white on the knee pads, we got a lot of white on that belt, and so right there you can see where the utility part of the belt is, and that's really what I'm trying to get in on some coverage here. And we're just gonna squish, 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 squish. Oh, helps if I hold it up to camera. Get that paint right in there. There we go. Looking sharp. So we get that Rhinox hide on there, like I was saying. We're going to go over the tops here. Now we wet our brush because our brush is starting to get a little dry. And then we just kind of wipe it off on our paper over there. Get back into that paint. And then we just keep doing the brown details. Alright. You don't have to have 000, quadruple zero. They help, like any tool can help, right? But you can definitely do a lot of the finer details with even just a mangled brush if you're gentle and you're purposeful with it. If you're not, or if you're just starting, or if you got really shaky hands, do what is best for you. For me, I'm lazy. And that may sound counterproductive because I would rather clean up than keep track of switching brushes. But that's where I am. That may change in the future. There we go. Thanks to our friend Turtlepig for stopping in, part of Turtlepig Productions. He is an art streamer and YouTuber. Highly recommend his channel. It is definitely 18 and up. This is what I'm talking about right here. You'll see how I'm kind of trying to angle this brush in to get the top of this utility pack right here. We're going to do the same thing over here. There we go. Alright. We are just about done with our first round of brown. That's right, I did say first round. Said that on purpose. Because we will be going back and touching up some of this. Now we're going to go up under here. We're getting under the shield. We're getting his glove. We're going to get a little more pigment on that brush. Got a little too much water there. Almost dropped it. There we go. We're going to get right up under that shield. And again, we're just going to slop, 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 slop. Slopping that paint on there. Slop, 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 slop. Doesn't have to be clean. It can be messy. It's okay. It's your model. It's your world. And, you know, Captain America's not, it's not always the cleanest guy. So down here we're gonna get his chin strap real quick. And you just go in like that. Alright, we got some on his skin and that's okay. We're gonna go back with a flesh tone. Really flesh out that skin. Alright. Now we're going to go back to our blue because we missed a shoulder pad here. And that's okay. Now we're going to get this shoulder pad. Just like that. Do a little cleanup. Do a little more cleanup here. Since we got the blue on our paintbrush. Make sure that that's in there. Cool. Slop, slop, slop. Slop, slop. We're just slopping paint all around. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. There we go. Almost. I keep saying there we go, and I keep finding, you know, I gotta remember, Matthew Einman says, don't pet it, don't caress it, you gotta let it be finished. And while it's not quite finished, it's almost time to move on to another color. So one of the things that I like to do generally, as I've found, is I like to paint by colors. And what that really means is I like to do things in a series, right? So try to get all my browns or try to get all my dark browns, try to get all my blues at once. And what this really does is this helps keep from having to clean the brush a whole bunch. But it also helps with keeping colors clean. So now we're going to clean out our brush. We're going to get some water. How's it going, chat? We are doing some basing on our, we're doing some base coats on our Captain America here. This is kind of where we're at. I know it looks black, but we got some blues. You know what, hang on, I'll be right back. I'm going to try to get something better than my hand for that. There we go. All right. So we got some blues and some browns on. I'm about to switch to some reds and some whites. We base coated with Bone Wraith by Citadel. I like their products. They're not the worst thing in the world. Getting some water real quick. Alright, so for our white, we've got this Purity White by Fantasy Games. Pretty good brand. It's very thin though. So it comes out thin, which is why you will hear the agitator in it. Just to help mix that pigment up with all the other stuff that's in it. And then we're going to start our red with our Corn Red by Citadel. This one does not have an agitator in it. This one, I've noticed, does not really need an agitator. When you get Citadel paints, you kind of have a mixture between whether you will need them or not. And so, we're just going to get a big old schlop right there. That paint. Show you what I'm working with here. This is what our wet palette currently looks like. Alright, there's that little bit of red that we put in. And we're going to start to work on the stripes of Captain America. Again, we're still not touching the shield. I got some special plans for that shield. And so we're just going to put a big old red line right there in the middle. Straight lines are hard, folks. Especially on a curvy model. And so what we're going to use our white for here in a minute, after we get our reds in there, is we're going to go back in. We're going to touch up the white in between the reds. A couple of different ways we could have done this. This is the method I chose because, I don't know, just seemed to make sense. Like I said before, paint is an additive medium. And so I think more in terms when painting of adding than I do removing. So there we go. Look at that. We got some red stripes in there. It's starting to come together real well. Don't know why I just cleaned that, because while we have our red, we're going to go after those boots. We're going to go after those knee pads right there, right? Yeah, let's hook those knee pads up. By the way, if anyone paid attention, yes, I did switch brushes. So the brush I was using before while I was basing, that was my Army Painter basing brush. Super cheap brush, not a lot to it. It and I have seen a lot together. I say that I've only been painting for about a year or so. Not even a year. I started in 2021 during quarantine and lockdown. Looked like something fun to do, and I suddenly had all the time in the world. So, what we're going to do here, let's see, can I do... So, unlike our reference model, his boots don't have the stripes. So, they do have this big piece on the front. And we're going to paint that red. And just really bring that out. Bring that to the forefront. And then we're going to do the backs of the boots as well. There we go. Doo-doo-doo. So as I mentioned, this brush is a Citadel Artificier extra small layer brush. It's a good brush. I don't know that it was worth the money that it cost. I think it was a $20 brush. And I don't know that it's any better. It's just really small. If you're looking for some small brushes for details and things of that nature, I got a brush here that I'm about to use. Got a pack of 50 of them off of Amazon. We're going to do that dot right there. And we're going to really just paint this hole back here. I don't know if y'all can hear my dog in the background. He thinks that the neighbors don't need to be outside, and I tend to disagree with him. There we go. Captain America has a lot of reds, a lot of browns. A little trouble seeing in here. Is that on? Yeah. I may have to bust out my light here in a minute. There we go. Let's get in there. Slap some paint. Be alright. Doesn't have to be perfect. These aren't for competition. These aren't for money. It's just super chill hobby painting stream. Because we can. Alright. Quick. Oh no. Didn't want to do that. Quick check-in with where we're at. Captain America's coming right along. Alright, next up, it's going to be some white. We're going to hit a little bit of that white. We're going to bring out a couple of different portions. We're going to keep our smaller brush. No, we're not. No, I'm going to go to those brushes I was telling you about. So, this is a 00 brush. It is a pointed tip. And this is what we're going to use for a large portion of our white as we go across and try to work out those stripes there. We're using our, what is this? Our Fantasy and Games, which is made by Scale Color. That's who it is. We use our Scale Color white here. And like I said, remember, this white is very wet, very thin. So thinning it already on our wet palette. Doesn't hurt us. It also doesn't do us a whole lot of favors. But it does allow for a little more smush coverage. Alright. One of the nice things about it being so wet is that, depending on how you look at it, it's good that it can take a few coats to go back and cover any kind of mistake. It can also be really frustrating if you're wanting a quick, thick white coverage. Depends on what you're trying to clean up. It mixes really well. Pigments are really nice on it. We're going to mix it here in a bit with some brown and some yellow to get kind of a weathered leather look. There we go. Now I'm going to pull a little bit off there. So now we're going to touch up our star a little bit. When we were doing our basing, we got some blue on our star. And now we're just going to fix that up. We're going to clean that up a little bit. We got a little more cleanup to do, and that's okay. We really want that star to be prominent. Because if you know anything about Captain America, that star is a giant focal point. I admittedly know very, very little about Captain America, and that's okay. I know what the movies have shown me. I don't know much about Captain America in the comics. I'm okay with that. That's inappropriate. Alright. Well, we are now ready to move on to the shield. So what we're going to do for the shield, first thing we're going to do, we're going to put down a thick layer of white. We're going to go back to our basing brush and just get it loaded. And we're just going to come in here and we're just going to slop that paint right on there. Move that pigment around. It's already primed. There we go. We're just going to let that rest. Try the little dry brush technique there. Okay. That's good. So like I said, it's a super wet paint. And it has a tendency to take a little bit to dry. We're going to just come in here. Maybe a little red right there on that. There we go. We're looking good. We're looking really sharp. I'm really proud with this so far. Alright. While we're waiting for our white paint to dry on the shield there, we're going to talk about what we're going to try to do. So, I've got this really thin layer paint here called Stormhost Silver. Maybe. There we go. Stormhost Silver. So this isn't metallic paint. No, I'm not doing any kind of fancy non-metallic metallics. But the goal here is we're going to put it on very, very thinly. And then we're going to try to put thin layers on top of it so that it gives a metallic effect to the layers up above. Right? That makes sense? I hope so. We'll see how it works. If it doesn't, I'll just slop more paint right on there and we'll just keep going. We'll just layer all kinds of paint. We'll make that shield this thick. Anybody out in chat land? Any questions? Comments? Anybody want to tell me how I'm doing it well? I mean, it's okay. What have we got? I'm refilling my vape here. In chat land, we've got Babble Rouser, Lurks, and we got Sony PlayStations. Interesting. Wonderful usernames. Welcome to the stream. I am Rogue Maverick. I do live in Texas. And I vape. So we're just going to take a couple minutes here. Move some things around here. There we go. Now you can see my little icon there. Alright. Let's get to it. So normally with metallics, you don't want to thin them. The pigments break apart because of the metal chunks in there. But we're rogues, damn it. We're Mavericks. We are Rogue Mavericks. We do what we want, as Cartman would say. So, we're going to get a lot of it on our wet palette right there. Right? I'm going to show you real quick. It's right there. That little splotch. Right? Then we're going to go into our water pot. Right? Go into our water pot, clean our brush off, get our brush loaded with some water. Alright, we want lots of water on here. And then we're just going to mixy until it spreads out really thin. And we get this really weird looking kind of metallic here. And then we're just going to brush that on all over in an outward motion. Alright? Because what we don't want to do is we don't want to push it around the shield. We want to try to create an effect. Alright. There we go. And we need to let that dry. Feel free to blow on it. You can get it on the center star if you want. We're going to try that too. We're going to go over that center star again with lots of white. Alright, we're going to look at our reference source again. Make sure that we get the right colors of the shield. So the shield goes red, white, red, blue with a white star. That's important. It's an important distinction. The reason that we need to let our metals dry, alright, is in the event that, well, really we don't want it to try to mix. So we're gonna take our, oh no, that's our black. It's another reason why I have an agitator in my black and not in my blue. I use black and blue a lot, and I don't know if you can tell on the stream. Colors are hard on monitors. They look very similar. So if I'm not paying attention and I pick it up and I hear the... Right? That's my agitator. This one, my Night Lord's Blue, has no agitator. Anyone who's been in chat for a little bit today, I don't know why we're starting with blue. We need to start with red. What am I doing? It's a good thing I had to stop anyways. So anyone who was in chat for a little bit, saw someone named Turtlepig Productions come in, talk about the shirt that I'm wearing. They are an art streamer and a good personal friend of mine. And 2 years ago at Halloween, they did a really cool stream. And this shirt was the result of it. It was a charity stream. Very proud of them. And let's see if we got a glaze here. No, that is still too much. That might do. I think we can work with that. And we just try to paint in a circle, which is not a natural shape for painting. That's okay. There we go. So if we need to, we can just rest on what's dry right here. So I watched someone on YouTube paint this with the contrast colors. They did a really good job. Again, contrast colors aren't for me. Nothing against them if they're your thing. We just dip our brush back into the water pot to re-wet any dried paint that may be on there. And I gotta say, I don't think our trick is working. And that's okay, because we have a backup. We always, always, always have a backup here at Rogue Maverick Industries. So, since it's not working, we're going to get a little more paint on that brush. And we are going to touch it up. We're going to fill in any gaps that our thin coat put on there. It's a really good opportunity to get used to using the edge of your brush. And you're saying, but Rogue, that's an excess brush. It doesn't have a big belly like some of the other brushes. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's true. That's true, it doesn't. But it does still have an edge for paint to deposit. Alright. There we go. Alright, so we got our red done. But we're not done yet. But wait, there's more! So now, we go for that inner circle, which I do have shaky hands sometimes. This is one of those times. Circles are hard. Straight lines are hard. And what's not hard is just doing the thing. I woke up this morning. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while. told my partner today. I said, hey, I want to do a painting stream. And she said, go for it. And I said, okay. Then she asked what I was going to paint. And I showed her Captain America here. If we get done with Captain America, I got some other things we can move on to. I don't know that we're going to get done with him, though. There's a lot to him. There's a lot happening on this model. It may not look like it at first, but it can be very deceptive. A lot of these models, I will say on a lot of these, the simpler they are, the more interesting they are. Going back into our water pot here, wiping off on our Kleenex over here. Alright, now we're going in for our white. Which looks like there may have been too much red on my brush still. Now, if you have an airbrush, none of this is a matter for you. Right, if you do your taping right. I'm not happy with how that white's coming out. I want a little more of a pure white. So we got a lot of red still in our paintbrush here. Alright, we're gonna shake up some more white. There we go. Good old thick white here. So what I'm doing here with the white, I'm going from a top down and then moving the brush in a circle. So what I've got is I've got a lot of shield, not a lot of area. Right, so to keep inside the lines here, and then we come up to our star up here. Like I was saying, if you have an airbrush, a lot of this may be easier because you can just block off the circles how you want them to be. Circles are hard, man. Words are hard. Circles are hard. 2020 was hard. 2021 was hard. 2022 is probably going to be hard. Nah, we'll be alright. We got this. You know how I know? Because we got America's ass right there. That's how I know we got this. We got America's ass. And that's going to carry us all the way through. If anybody shares this with Chris Evans, let him know. His ass is going to carry us through 2022. Because it is America's ass. Alright. We still got some red in that brush. That's okay. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take our Night Lord's Blue. Our Night Lord's Blue. Remember, no agitator. Alright. We're going to take this Night Lord's Blue, get a big old Pekin Schlop, put it on our wet palette, which apparently needs to be a little more wet than it is. So we're just going to add a little water to it. Alright, just add a little water to that wet palette, slosh it around there. Our paper's coming up, which is not good. It's not supposed to do that. It's okay. This is the first one from Redgrass Games. Not a sponsor, but I like their products. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are not a sponsor that I just really like the products of. Citadel, not a sponsor. Can't even really say that I like Citadel products. I like Citadel over like Army Painter when it comes to paint and primers. But when it comes to models, I wouldn't say that I'm a giant. I'm not Henry Cavill. I'm not a 40K fan. I don't know. There's some really good stuff in 40K, and there's some boring stuff in 40K. You know, I don't play. I just paint. The painting is my hobby, and I'm so happy to share it with you. Done a lot of painting alone. It's nice to have someone to talk to. There we go. Look at that. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Look at that shield. Look at that. Alright. Now what we're going to do, we're going to get some of our white glaze here. And we're just going to come out like that. That. Come out like that. Come out like that. Yeah, there we go. Come back in here on our reds. And just a little bit of red on our brush. It was so hard to clean off earlier. Just do some touch up. Right around the edges. And we'll go back with our white glaze here in a minute. We may brighten up our red here. I don't know. Let's see. How do we like that? How do we like our red brightened up? What is this? This is Evil Sun Scarlet. Let's grab a good old thing of that. Let's mix some of you with it. Get a really bright red. What do we think of this? Oh yeah, no, we like that a lot better. At least for the outside of the shield. Oh, sorry. Helps if I'm on camera painting, doesn't it? That's the whole point of the stream. Yeah, no, I like that. Alright, now we're going back for our white glaze. And we're adding some highlights with that glaze to the shield. So what we're doing is we've got a lot of really thin down white over here. Alright, we're gonna thin it just a little bit more. And then we just come in. Coming from the star, right. We just add some shine marks. Kind of like that. And then we get more white because it still looks like there's some pink showing through on our star from when we had too much red on our brush. We come back in here and we just dab it. And then we kick up any excess. We're going to have to retouch up our blue, which is fine. It's a learning process. We're learning as we go. And we just come right in here. We touch up our blue. And there we go. And since we've got some blue on our brush, yeah, there we go. Look at this. No, he's looking sharp. A juicy Angus burger. Alright, we're going to let everything dry for a little bit. We're going to take a little break here. We're looking good. We are looking a lot like Captain America. So what I'm going to do is we've been going for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to take a stretch break. I'm going to throw us on the break card here. And I'll be back in just a few minutes.
just a shadow of myself. When you found me, I was lonely, yeah. But then you took my hand and said, it's gonna be alright. I'm here for you tonight. I'm getting over years. Can't believe that you are my lady. It's so crazy, it's so crazy. I'm getting over years. Can't believe that you are my lady. It's so crazy, it's so crazy. I'm so high, for so long I've searched for something that feels right. For the love of my life. Then you took my hand and said, it's gonna be alright. I'm here for you tonight. I'm getting over years for you, baby. Can't believe that you
Alright, we're back. Found some spots that need a little more touch up on that shield. So we just dip our brush in our water pot. And then we just touch it up. We can make our shine lines a little thinner. That's what I think we're going to do here. Not quite a wet blend because it's dry. It's not even really a blend. We're just kind of going over some of it here. Using our really bright red. Just block some of that in. There we go. I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. Yeah, like I said, it's just for me. It's gonna go on display. It's for me to share with you. It's gonna go in a curio cabinet. It's not gonna be sold to anyone. Some of those. There we go. I like that. I'm really happy with that. Yeah. Alright. That red really loves to live in these bristles. Alright, what do you think? You think we're gonna try our metallic glaze again? I think we're brave. I think we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna do it. Yeah. Take this. We're gonna take our double aught. Some of that good Stormhost silver on it. Spread that out really thin. Get lots of water in that brush. Spread it out really thin. And And we're just gonna kind of add it to some areas here. Use it almost like a highlight. There we go. What do we think of that? There we go. Yeah, I can dig that. I think. If I don't like it, I'll always change it later. I think we've been playing with the shield long enough. I think it's time we fix a little bit of the back. While I was on break, I was looking at some of our reference material here, and what I found is that the back is pretty solid blue. I don't, even though Chris Evans does have America's ass, I did not spend a lot of time looking at the back of the Captain America uniform in the movies. Probably should have. But, you know, this is where we are now. Alright. There we go. Do a little touch up there. And then, we come back for our Stormhole Silver. Get a whole lot of that on our brush, and we're going to touch up some of our metal bits. Alright, so on the back, you've got all these little clasps. It's got a ton of metal clips. So I want to add some silver to those. Yeah, there we go. Clean our brush off of that. Go back into this blue. I mean, guys, we're pretty much on our final touches with him, I think. We got a little detail to do. A little detail work to touch on, some touch up here and there. But otherwise, I think we're just about done. Nope, messed up that A. That's okay. We'll go back over to a lot of that with white. Yeah, alright. Alright, we'll do the flesh tone. I was dreading it. Flesh tones and faces are hard. You are flayed flesh. That's not what I want. I have a flesh tone in here. There it is. Cadian flesh tone. Now this sheet really just doesn't want to stay on our palette here. It's alright. We'll trade it out before we go on to the next thing. I probably just didn't set it up right. And that happens. So again, we just gently slop some paint. There we go. His face is good. Going back to our white here. So we're using our 00 here because we've got some very fine detail stuff to paint in. And as it dries, it will do a fantastic job. All right. There we go. Okay. Well. Now we get into some really interesting areas. I'm going to try to fix our palette. No, we're not. We are just going to toss that. We should grab a new sheet. Because that sheet does not want to stay on our palette. May have to buy some more of these soon. Go. All right. Now for some real fun. I mean, this has all been real fun, right? But what we are going to do is we're going to take our Rhinox hide, our white, we're going to take our Uriel yellow. And what we're going to try to do is make a highlight for the leather. So, we talked a little bit earlier in the stream, talking about that I was waiting or hoping for the Duncan Rhodes Painting Academy colors to come in. The reason why is that their line comes in a series of 3s, right? They come in triads. So I don't know that I can share it Too Thin Coats was the name of the paint. And because of production issues, they've been they've been delayed. But it comes with they come in a shadow, a mid-tone, and a highlight, right? So with their brown, it came with Cutlass Leather, or Curious Leather, which is the shadow, Boar Hide, which is the mid-tone, and then Fur Cloak is the highlight. I might be able to add a browser capture here real quick. Yeah, so there you go. So you can see what I'm talking about here. Right. It says they're brown, right? And then their skin tones. Let's zoom in a little bit more here. So that was something I was hoping would be in before. And they had some delay issues. So, yeah. They had production issues. So, as with the rest of the world, yay COVID. So anyways, what we're going to do is we're going to take our brown, right? And we're just going to dip it right in that pot there. Yeah, get a good old bit of brown on here. We're going to put that right on our wet palette. Right? And then we're going to clean off our brush because we're going to dip into the yellow next. Yeah, so we're going to shake our yellow up. Get it good and shaken. Mix those pigments up with all the other water and chemicals that are in there. Fun fact, for those who didn't know, apparently with oils, their names help tell you what's in them. For example, titanium white apparently is made with some titanium. I was not aware of that. If you were, congratulations. So, I might have to hold up the wet palette here in just a minute to show you what I'm doing. Alright, we got a good blob of white on there too. And it's super wet right now. So, we got them spread out kind of like that. And then we're just going to bring them into the middle here. Starting with that yellow, bring that white, and then bring that brown in. And we're going to add more brown than we probably are any other color. There we go. We're going to end up overtaking that brown. Again, remember, this is a worn leather kind of look. And that's what we wind up with. And so again, this is all just leather highlighting, right? So we're gonna go back into some of our Rhinox hide here. Get some of these good leather bits, get them nice and dark. That's all right. Come on, man. Come on, Rogue. Let's get on camera here. And so now we just highlight. All right. And we come along parts of the belt. We highlight the pouches. All right. Highlight that belt again. Get in those crevices. Some of that white tried to sneak in. There we go. And we just add some highlights to his boots. He's been stomping in some mud here. There we go. Then up here, on the gloves, we do something a little different. We go right across the knuckles. We go down the fingers. Just to really bring them out, make them distinct. Right? Let it be shown that, you know, there's textures here. That's really the point of highlighting. Some of it's to, you know, show where light is. Some of it's just to add to the detail of what's happening. Yeah, there we go. And then on the back, we just highlight down along the edges where the most wear is going to happen. So two things happen with leather, if you're unfamiliar. Right? When leather collects sweat, it gets really dark. But when leather is rubbed against or used repeatedly, it gets light. And so when you have a brown leather, like he does here, you can end up with both. You can end up with really, really dark spots. You can end up with really, really light spots. And so what we want to do is we want to just bring out some of that leather. That's looking good. I'm looking really happy with that. I was dreading the leather too, just because it's such a fine detail. Like, sometimes I just want a piece to be done. Not for any other reason than I just feel like I've exhausted myself on it. You know, if we're always sitting there chasing perfection, we'll never reach it. Right? Look at that. There you go. That's what his glove looks like after we're done. There we go. Take a quick drink of water here. Alright, so next up on our highlighting is we're going to take our Lothern blue, we're going to mix it with a little bit of black. We're going to try to make it just a little darker because this is a really bright blue. Actually, you know what, no, before we do that, we're just going to see what it looks like on the model. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to see what it looks like on the model first. So we're going to highlight parts of the model. We're going to thin our paint because it came out thick. Alright, and so we're going to just come in here, and we're just going to put some dollops. No. No, not dark enough. I don't like the way it looks. It's too bright. So, we're going to bust out our Night Lord's Blue again. We're going to try to find a mixture between the two. Right? So we're going to find somewhere, some kind of middle ground between Night Lord's Blue and our Lothern Blue. And that's okay. Right? Trying to find a mid-tone. Alright, we could still maybe use just the pure Lothern Blue in some areas. But what I really want is like a slightly lighter denim color. I think that's what I want. I think I've got it on here. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. Because we're painting in those creases now. There we go. If you've ever seen denim, you know how denim reacts when it creases. Almost like a dry brush in here. Right there on the front, middle of his pants. Yeah, that's looking good. Alright. Yep, I'm pretty happy with that. I am. I feel like any more that I try to do to it, I'm going to be over-petting it. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to over-pet it. So, now for the easiest bit. Right, so now we're going to break out our Abaddon Black. And this Abaddon Black here, what we're going to do. So now, when I say the easiest bit, we're going to do this base right down here. And just paint that up. So we're going to start with our Abaddon Black and we're going to base the hell out of it. Alright, we're going to just base coat the hell out of that base. Right? We're going to paint all of that concrete black. We're going to paint the rim black. We're going to paint it all black. Alright? And I'll explain why we do that here in a minute. So, you'll notice that as I did this model, I have not used a single wash yet. And that's on purpose. I feel like for this particular model, and for a lot of these Marvel Crisis Protocol models, you know, you're not going grim dark. It's not to say that you can't. But it's not Warhammer, right? And I feel like the paints that I used were pretty dark already. I wasn't doing any kind of crazy light sourcing. I wasn't doing any kind of crazy object source lighting. I was just painting. Just slapping some paint on Captain America. Trying to take care and do justice of America's ass. You know, I don't know how many times I've said America's ass on this stream, but you know, that's the word of the day, right there. So, or the phrase of the day, I should say. Take care of America's ass. So all I'm doing right now is I'm just painting black base coating around the base of the figure. All right. If you're interested in these particular models, there are a bunch of them. You can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them from Miniature Market. It's Marvel Crisis Protocol is this particular set. I've painted a few of them. This is the first one I've done on stream, and they're a lot of fun. Really, if you just need a break, right, from painting Warhammer 40k and the Grimdark and you know all of that, or Age of Sigmar. If you just need a break from dozens of skulls, thousands and millions of skulls, highly recommend these. They come in sprue. You can buy little booster packs. You can buy specific characters if you want them. They've got a Spider-Man set. They've got they got a bunch. They got a bunch of stuff. Definitely worth looking into, checking out. They're a really fun set. Alright. So, we're going to grab our dark gray here. This is called Graphite by Scale Color. This is also by the people who brought you... Oop, let's not spill it everywhere. The fantasy in game color here. This one is Miskatonic Gray, so I am a huge fan of all things Cthulhu. Not necessarily a fan of Lovecraft, just a fan of Cthulhu and the idea. So Miskatonic is definitely a thing that I want in my collection. Again, earlier this was Purity White. For anyone who plays Magic the Gathering or anything. Alright, so we're going to put a big dollop on there. And then we're just going to dip this in some water. And we're going to spread it out. Spread that gray around. And now we're just going to start to paint our concrete. Alright. Just going to go on super wet. Don't worry about it. It's going to mix in well with that black. I promise. The reason that we put the black down first was so that we could get it into the cracks and the crevices and then not have to worry about that later. Alright, so we're lightening up, and if we want to, we can go back into those crevices with a wash. But this method tends to work out really well. It also helps that I knew what this paint would do when I put it on, right? Boom. Look at that. No need for a wash. We don't need a wash. There we go, guys. And we are done. I'm calling Captain here done. I'm happy with him. I'm happy with the way he's turned out. We experimented with some things, tried a couple things. Tried to do something new with that metallic glaze. Maybe it didn't work out quite like I wanted it to, but in the light, you know, it definitely shines that red. So I think that's something that I'm going to have to figure out really how to do. Is whether I put a really strong metallic coat down and then just kind of glaze over it, or if I try to glaze a little bit more with my metallic. But all in all, I like the way this turned out. I'm gonna take some pictures of it. I think this is the fastest I've ever actually painted a miniature, just in a 2-hour sitting. It also helps that there's not a lot to it, right? I mean, he's just Captain America. He's just chilling. You know, there's not a whole lot to our boy here. Not a whole lot to our boy. But it looks good. I think he looks good. You can see that metallic shine. All right, you can see those shine lines coming off of the star. I think we did a good job here today. So we're gonna set him aside and we're gonna call him done. Now, let me see. Are you dry? You seem dry. All right. Yeah, I'm not ready to tackle this one again. We have a really cool looking werewolf here that I want to finish. And I'll probably finish it on a stream. I'm just not ready to yet. I also need to buy some more super glue. And that's a very important distinction for anyone out there listening or watching. You have two types of glue. Well, two major types of glue, right? You have super glue. Right? This is particularly Army Painter Super Glue. And then you have the amazing... I can't find it now. What did I do with it? You have Model Glue, which is just a little different. The big difference is that the plastic Model Glue... Right here we go. This stuff. Alright. This stuff will melt the plastic together to help it adhere, where super glue just holds things together. So, I think that's where we're going to end it today. I think we're going to call it a 2-hour stream. I would say it was successful. Thank you guys. And y'all have a wonderful afternoon.